Welcome back, everyone. I'm Sadie. And guys, I finally sat down and watched something that completely blew my mind. Project Hail Mary, the 2026 sci-fi film everyone's been talking about. Now, this one isn't part of a franchise, so there's no backstory homework required. You can jump straight in without watching anything else first. But here's the good news. Even if you've never touched hard science fiction before, you're still going to enjoy every second of this one. Because at its heart, this is simply the story of what one broken, frightened, brilliant man is willing to give up to save two entire worlds. You already know the feeling of waking up with no memory of who you are. So today, we're going to walk through his journey exactly as it unfolds on screen. Yes, there are a few deeper emotional layers buried inside. Moments that will hit even harder if you've read the book. But if you haven't, just treat them as reference points and keep moving with me. He wakes up alone. No name, no memory. Just the hum of machines and the terrifying realization that he has been floating through the void for nearly 12 years. Utterly, completely alone. Two bodies lie nearby, already gone. And somewhere out there, an entire planet is dying, waiting for him to remember why he was ever sent here in the first place. The film opens aboard a lone spacecraft, drifting through deep space. Inside, a man, old beyond his years, his body wasted by time, stirs awake with absolutely no memory of who he is. The numbers don't lie. He has been aboard this ship for nearly 11.9 light-years worth of distance from Earth. Years spent in this metal shell have hollowed him out completely. He doesn't know his name. He doesn't know why he's here. He doesn't know why he's still breathing while everyone else around him is not. Slowly, driven by pure instinct, he begins to piece himself back together. The ship isn't empty, not really. It's run by an artificial intelligence named Mary, calm and steady, gently prodding his broken mind toward the truth. Little by little, she feeds him fragments. His name is Grace. And Grace, we come to learn, is desperately trying to rebuild a man out of nothing but static and half-formed memories. That's when the film pulls us backward into the life Grace used to have. And this is where the real heart of the story begins. Once, he was nothing more than a science teacher standing in front of a classroom of kids. His theory had always been simple, almost stubborn. Somewhere out there, among all the planets that aren't Earth, life could exist without needing water at all. It was a theory that got him thrown out of NASA's most elite team of scientists. Dismissed, mocked, forgotten. So now, here he is, teaching biology to teenagers instead of chasing the stars. But something far worse than professional failure is creeping toward humanity. Rumors are spreading, the sun itself is dying, and with it so is the human race. Grace breaks it down for his students in the simplest way he can. There's an invisible ring of something orbiting between the sun and Venus. Scientists have named it the Petrova Line. Along that line, a strange organism has taken hold, something almost like a living veil, slowly wrapping itself around the sun's light. In roughly 30 years, that veil will grow thick enough to choke off the warmth reaching Earth completely. No heat, no sunlight breaking through. Earth would freeze into a new ice age. And humanity along with it. The classroom goes silent with fear. But Grace steadies them. The world's greatest minds are already racing against the clock. He tells them, and a solution is coming. Has to be. Back in the present, aboard the ship, Grace is piecing together something darker. Two more people had been on this mission with him. Both dead. Who they were, we'll learn soon enough. And just as that mystery deepens, the story pulls us backward again, into the moment everything truly began. A woman named Eva walks into Grace's classroom life. Brilliant. Commanding. A scientist herself, and she's here to pull him back into the fold. Back into the very research that got him exiled in the first place. At first, Grace refuses. Why would he go back to a world that threw him away? But Eva's offer is too significant to walk away from. She reveals what she's found. A strange, microscopic fragment. Something that didn't come from Earth at all. Alien. Cellular. Impossible to classify just yet. And Grace, despite everything, can't resist the pull of discovery. He throws himself into understanding exactly what this thing is. Through relentless testing, exposing it to every molecule Earth has to offer. Oxygen, nitrogen, every possible reaction. Grace finally cracks it. It's a living cell, and it carries traces of oxygen and nitrogen within its own structure. More importantly, it's the very organism spreading across the Petrova Line, devouring the sun's warmth. They name it Astrophage. Now the real challenge begins, learning how to make it multiply and, just as crucially, how to destroy it. Alongside Grace works Carl, once Eva's bodyguard, now his partner in the lab, the two of them running experiment after experiment on this microscopic threat. Eventually, breakthrough. Grace figures out exactly how Astrophage reproduces. It's a discovery big enough to summon the world's top scientists into a single room, with Grace standing at the very center of it, presenting his findings. What they uncover next is staggering. Astrophage isn't just resilient, it's ferociously powerful. Even a fraction of a gram carries enough stored energy to melt solid iron. Which means one thing: if it can be harnessed as fuel, it could power a ship far beyond anything Earth has ever built. Far enough to reach the source of the infection itself, and maybe, just maybe, find whatever is capable of stopping it. And so, Project Hail Mary is born. A global effort, gathering the brightest scientists and engineers the world has left, all racing toward a single desperate goal: find a way to save the sun. Back in the present, aboard the ship, more of Grace's memory resurfaces. There had been 3 of them originally: a captain, a mechanical engineer, and himself, the scientist. The 2 he'd found dead were his crewmates. Slowly recognizing their photographs, their journals, their faces, Grace gives them the only tribute he can. He sends their bodies drifting out into the endless dark of space, a silent, aching goodbye. Days pass. Grace continues trying to rebuild who he is. And then something enormous appears beside his ship. Panic grips him. He assumes it's an attack and tries to flee. But the vessel simply matches his course, trailing him patiently. Then a small device ejects from it. Grace's first instinct is that it's a bomb. But after it happens again and again, he realizes this isn't a weapon. It's an attempt to communicate. Terrified but determined, Grace suits up and steps outside his ship for the first time. He retrieves the device. Built entirely from xenon, its very molecular structure unlike anything from Earth. Along with it, a message. A question about where his ship and his kind came from. Grace marks his own origin point in response and asks the same question back. Through this strange, patient back and forth, he learns the truth. This visitor has come from a planet called Arid. It turns out humanity isn't alone in this crisis. Scattered across the wider solar neighborhood, entire worlds are fighting the exact same fight. Each one built on different chemistry, different survival needs. For humans, it's hydrogen and oxygen. For this new species, it's something else entirely. Xenon. Eventually, a long crystalline tunnel is built to connect the 2 ships, and secretly filled with oxygen for Grace's benefit, though he doesn't know it yet. He has to walk through it, utterly unaware of what or who is waiting on the other side. Fear consumes him. What kind of creature is he about to meet? Then it appears, a being built entirely of rock and crystal, moving on 5 sturdy limbs, knocking gently against the barrier between them. Grace decides right then to call him Rocky. At first, the 2 can't understand each other at all. Rocky communicates through musical vibrations, completely alien to human ears. But Grace, ever the scientist, builds a device to translate those frequencies into written words, and then another to speak them aloud. Piece by piece, word by word, an impossible friendship starts to take shape between a human and a being built from stone. They learn about each other's worlds. Grace was a science teacher. Rocky was a mechanical engineer. Of the 23 crew members aboard his ship, 22 are gone. Killed by a gas leak, Rocky alone survived. Both of them now carry the same unbearable weight. The survival of their entire species rests on their shoulders. And both now understand exactly what they're up against. Astrophage, spreading unchecked through the void, threatening every world that depends on starlight to live. Grace builds Rocky a small space of his own aboard the ship, where the 2 of them can run experiments side by side, chasing the same impossible goal: saving 2 planets at once. Back on Earth, in another memory, Grace watches the final crew of Project Hail Mary preparing to leave, Scientists, doctors, pilots, engineers, all paired in twos. It's an enormous operation. But there's a horrifying catch nobody's saying out loud. There's only enough fuel to get there. None to come back. Whoever goes is essentially signing their own death warrant. Grace, shaken, confronts them. How can they accept a suicide mission so calmly? Their answer is simple and devastating. If it saves Earth, it isn't really a sacrifice at all, because everything they discover out there will still be transmitted home, still be used to save the people they love. Back on the ship, Rocky bounces around Grace's quarters with childlike curiosity, poking at the mess, muttering small alien words, scattering things everywhere while Grace, quietly smitten with his new friend, starts filming and documenting every moment. Rocky, it turns out, is astonishingly gifted, capable of seeing in every direction at once, hearing the faintest whisper, identifying gases with pinpoint precision. The two open up about their personal lives. Rocky has been married to his wife for 183 years, and he misses her more than words can hold. Grace, meanwhile, had a girlfriend once, but his work always came first, and she slipped away from him long before this mission ever began. He remembers, painfully clearly, everyone he's already lost. We drift back once more to Grace and Eva, quietly discussing how easily they could give their lives for Earth's survival. The crew of Project Hail Mary throws one last celebration together, because for most of them, this is as close to a final night on Earth as they'll ever get. Back in deep space, Grace and Rocky push their research further and uncover something extraordinary. Astrophage has infected virtually everything in the observable universe, except for one planet. Somehow, this single world remains completely untouched. Astrophage can't reach it. Not through its solar system, not through any pathway at all. Just as Earth has its Petrova Line, this new world, Tau Ceti, has a ring of its own named the Adrian Line. But hidden within that ring is a gap, a controlled opening, as if something is deliberately keeping Astrophage from crossing through. If they can identify whatever is holding that line back, they might be able to recreate it, breed it, and unleash it on both of their dying worlds. They name this potential antidote the Predator. But how do you actually collect a Predator? Grace and Rocky come up with a plan. Build something like a fishing net, cast it out, and gather whatever elemental force out there is capable of destroying Astrophage. The catch is timing. Collecting this element means getting dangerously close to the planet itself, close enough that the risk becomes very real. Somehow, they manage to gather a small sample. And when they study it, the truth is staggering. This entire planet is teeming with a predator organism so powerful it devours Astrophage completely, leaving absolutely no trace behind. Because Astrophage can never take root here, sunlight reaches the surface freely, and over time, this world's own version of the Petrova Line, the Adrian Line, simply fades away. Which raises an electric possibility. What if they gathered this predator, bred it, and sent it to both Earth and Arid? Both worlds could be saved. They name this discovery Tomiba, a fusion of Tau Ceti and amoeba. But there's a problem: neither of them can escape. Grace doesn't have enough fuel to make it home. And that's when Rocky, thinking only of his friend, quietly offers to share his own fuel supply. It'll cost him just 6 extra years, he says. But Grace at least could still make it back to Earth. The offer hits Grace like a wave. He pulls Rocky into an embrace, overwhelmed, because here is a being made of stone, an alien in every sense of the word, choosing to sacrifice years of his own life just so his friend can go home. Together, they map out an enormous, delicate plan. How to reach Tau Ceti, how to slip through the gap in the Adrian Line, and how to safely collect enough Tomiba to save 2 entire species. Once the collection is complete, they'll each turn back toward their own planets, and the goodbye they've both been dreading will finally arrive. Before that moment comes, though, Grace shares one more piece of the truth he's been carrying, the memory of the disaster that shattered everything. Back on Earth, during an experiment, someone had pushed Astrophage far past its safe limit, testing a full gram instead of the tiny fraction they were supposed to use. The lab exploded. People died. Their own ship's captain and technician were among them. And now, the day has finally come. Grace and Rocky have arrived at the source, ready to collect Tomiba for real. Rocky casts his net out into the atmosphere, a massive sphere designed to gather the organism for Grace to reel back in. Should have been simple. It wasn't. The moment Grace steps outside into the atmosphere, violent waves of turbulence seize him, dragging him off course. The sphere containing the precious Tomiba spins wildly out of control, swinging toward the far side of the ship instead of settling where it should. And Grace, in a split-second decision, cuts himself loose from his own tether, deliberately choosing danger over safety because he refuses to lose that sample. Not now. Not after everything. For a moment it looks like it might cost him everything. While Grace is gone, Rocky watches in silent horror, terrified his friend might not come back at all. But Grace fights through it, battered, exhausted. He manages to gather the full sample. By the time he does, the atmosphere outside has torn into their ship, damaging a fuel tank badly enough that it begins to leak, and then to explode. Someone has to eject it before it takes the whole ship down. Grace throws himself into the job, but his body finally gives out. He collapses, unconscious, in the middle of the crisis. And now Rocky faces an impossible choice. Grace is dying, and the only way to save him is to step outside his own protective xenon shell, knowing full well that exposure to oxygen could kill him instantly. He does it anyway. Rocky drags Grace's limp body to the ship's medical bay, where Mary can begin treating him, then rushes back into his xenon crystal chamber, but not before real damage has already been done. By the time Grace wakes, days have passed, and Rocky is nowhere to be found. The story pulls us back once more, this time to a devastating memory. Back on Earth, Eva tells Grace that so many scientists have died that there's simply no one left qualified to lead this mission but him. No family tying him down. No one who understands the science better. She wants him to go. Grace refuses outright. He's not an astronaut, he tells her. He wouldn't survive out there. But Eva has run out of options. She gives him just 3 hours to make a decision that will determine the fate of the entire human race. Back in the present, Grace searches desperately for Rocky, fearing the worst, that his friend dragged his broken body across the ship to save him, only to die in the process. When he finally finds him, Rocky is barely alive. His color faded, too weak to move. Every instinct in Grace screams to help him, but there's still a mission to finish. He gathers the Tomiba and begins breeding it at full scale, discovering something remarkable in the process. This organism devours Astrophage almost instantly, wiping it out within a single minute. But a horrifying new problem surfaces. Sending Tomiba back to Earth is one thing. Grace can carry it there himself. But how does he get it to Arid, to Rocky's dying planet, without a way to deliver it? And more urgently, how does he save Rocky? His mind races through every possibility until finally, he finds a way to bring Rocky back to life. When Rocky's eyes finally open again and lock onto Grace, it's one of the most devastating, beautiful moments of the entire film. Grace pulls him into an embrace without hesitation. Now both of them finally have what they need: fuel, and a working antidote capable of wiping out Astrophage entirely. It's time to say goodbye. A friendship this deep, forged between a human and an alien across impossible distance, isn't something either of them will ever forget. Grace, so overwhelmed with emotion, can barely bring himself to let Rocky go. Then we're pulled back one final time, to the moment Grace refused this mission outright, insisting he wasn't ready, wasn't capable. And here's the gut punch. They didn't listen. They knocked him unconscious and loaded him onto the ship in a medically induced coma, because they knew better than he did exactly what needed to be done. That's the real reason Grace woke up with no memory at all. He never chose this mission. It was taken from him, out of desperate necessity, to save everyone he'd ever known. Back in the present, Grace and Rocky share one last, aching farewell, trading small gifts, a final gesture between two beings who've come to mean everything to each other, before finally turning their ships toward home. But the danger isn't over. Just days later, Grace discovers fire spreading through his ship. His fuel engine catastrophically damaged. The cause is almost poetic. Tomiba is such a relentless consumer that it's been hunting down and devouring every trace of astrophage it can find, including the very fuel powering his own ship. Astrophage isn't just the disease anymore. It's the fuel that gets them home. And Tomiba doesn't discriminate. Grace manages to contain his own supply just in time, sealing it away safely. But then the real horror sets in. How will Rocky protect himself from the exact same threat? His entire ship is built from xenon. He has no equivalent way to seal anything off. He wouldn't even understand what's happening until it's far too late. So Grace makes his choice. He seals every sample of Tomiba he's collected, along with all the footage and research he's gathered, into small capsules and launches them toward Earth, hoping it reaches humanity in time. Then, using what fuel remains, he turns his own ship not toward home, but toward Rocky. Months later, he finally reaches him. Terrified he's arrived too late, that Tomiba has already consumed Rocky's entire ship. He races to reach him, and after an agonizing wait, Rocky finally emerges. Alive. Grace has saved him, sealing off the threat before it could spread any further. Back on Earth, years have passed. The sun has already dimmed. The Ice Age has arrived, blanketing the world in frost. Eva, too, has grown old waiting. But the samples and the footage Grace sent back have finally arrived. And with them, the last piece of the puzzle humanity needs. It's time to fight back. Time to unleash Tomiba. Time to finally burn away Astrophage for good. And in the final moments we find Grace, not on Earth, but on Erid, having chosen to stay with Rocky and his people. The Iridians have built him his own private atmosphere, complete with oxygen and water, a small pocket of home on an alien world. His ship sits ready nearby, fully fueled, should he ever choose to return. Rocky moves freely in his own xenon-filled shell beside him, the two of them still inseparable. And Grace, once a disgraced science teacher who nobody believed in, now spends his days doing exactly what he always loved, teaching. Except now, his students are small, curious alien children, growing up on a planet he helped save. And that, everyone, is where this incredible story comes to an end. So tell me, what did you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next movie explanation. Until then, take care.